What if the comfortable silence of an ordinary evening was abruptly pierced, not by a sound, but by a sensation so deeply unsettling it steals your breath? Imagine Arthur, 68, settling into his favorite armchair, the day's newspaper resting on his lap. Suddenly, an unfamiliar pressure begins to bloom in his chest. Not pain, not yet, just a strange, unwelcome tightness. Just indigestion, he tries to tell himself, a common dismissal for what his body, through a subtle, silent signal, is desperately trying to communicate. Have you ever done that? Ignored a whisper from your body? Arthur glances at the grandfather clock in the hall. The steady tick-tock seems to amplify the growing unease within him. An invisible, relentless, unseen timer has just begun its countdown. He is completely alone. A shiver of genuine fear, cold and sharp, flickers through him. Could this actually be serious? The question hangs heavy in the quiet room. For many seniors, especially those living alone, this scenario is a terrifying reality, where knowing what to do in those first critical minutes can mean everything. This isn't just another list of tips you'll forget. Think of this as your personal lifeline, a source of empowerment designed to help you act decisively when every single second is precious beyond measure. Survival, when facing a heart attack alone, often hinges on recognizing these initial, often subtle signs, these vital whispers from your body, and then knowing the 7 crucial, life-saving steps to take immediately. It all starts with understanding what your body is urgently trying to tell you, right now before it's too late. Are you ready to learn the language of survival? Arthur's unease deepens. The pressure in his chest remains, a quiet insistence. What was that first, most vital step? He wonders, his mind racing. The one that could mean the difference between a close call and a tragedy? He knew he had to decipher these first cryptic messages from his body. The body's whisper, decoding the subtle SOS signals of a heart attack. Arthur, rattled by a strange sensation in his chest, tries to recall what he knows about heart attacks. One thought rises above the panic. Recognize the signs before it's too late. But how do you read symptoms that don't scream, but whisper? Consider Richard, 74. His heart attack didn't begin with the dramatic chest-clutching scenes seen in movies. It started with a tightness just below his collarbone. Subtle, annoying, easy to dismiss. Probably just something I ate, he thought. But then came something he couldn't explain. He couldn't take a full, satisfying breath. A cold sweat broke across his palms. That's when the real alarm bells should have rung. Richard's experience is common. Most real heart attacks don't explode into your life, they creep in. You might feel uncomfortable pressure, squeezing, or fullness in the center of your chest. It may feel like weight is pressing on you, or like your chest is slowly turning to stone. Sometimes the sensation comes and goes, fooling you into thinking it's not serious. But if it lasts more than a few minutes or keeps returning, do not ignore it. Shortness of breath, especially if you're just sitting or resting, is another major warning. You might feel like you've just climbed a flight of stairs even though you haven't moved. Other symptoms may seem unrelated to the heart. Pain in one or both arms, the neck, jaw, back, or stomach. You could feel lightheaded, nauseous, or suddenly break into a cold sweat. And here's something especially important for older adults and women. Heart attack pain isn't always centered in the chest. It may feel like stomach pressure or an aching back. These atypical signs are often the most dangerous because they're so easy to dismiss. For Richard, the realization came in a flash. His foggy mind cleared just enough to remember something he once read. Not all heart attacks start with crushing pain. A wave of dread swept over him. This wasn't just heartburn. His chest was tight, his breathing shallow, and the cold sweat was worsening. The signs were adding up. And in that moment, just before denial could take over, Richard chose to listen. His heart pounded, not just from physical stress, but from a terrifying thought. This is it, isn't it? He stood frozen in his kitchen, hand hovering over the phone. That internal voice, the one we so often ignore, spoke clearly this time. What's the one call that could save your life? Recognizing the early, often quiet symptoms of a heart attack is the first and most crucial step toward survival. Richard's decision to act, to take his body's warning seriously instead of brushing it aside, was a bold, life-saving moment. That call he made next, it would change everything. The unwavering lifeline. Why calling 911 instantly is non-negotiable. Richard's eyes locked onto the phone, a single question racing through his mind. What's the one call that could change everything? The answer is simple and non-negotiable. If you suspect a heart attack, your first call must be to emergency services. Now imagine Linda, 78, home alone when a strange ache bloomed in her left shoulder. Moments later, she felt nauseated and cold sweat broke across her skin. Her instinct, call her son. Most of us would do the same, reach for the comfort of a loved one. But then, cutting through the fog of fear, she remembered a nurse's words from years ago. If you think it's your heart, call 911 first. Family can wait. Her hand trembled. The urge to downplay, to wait, to see if it gets better was overwhelming. But she pushed past it and dialed. That call wasn't just for help, it was a lifeline. Let's be absolutely clear. If you suspect a heart attack, do not wait. Do not try to drive yourself, and do not ask someone else to take you unless advised directly by professionals. Why? Because with every passing minute, oxygen-starved heart muscle suffers more damage, often irreversible. Emergency responders aren't just transport. They bring critical care to your doorstep. As soon as you call, paramedics begin preparing life-saving tools, medications, and equipment. In some cases, they can restart a failing heart before you even leave your home. Linda described her symptoms, voice shaky, to the dispatcher. That calm, trained voice on the other end became her anchor through the storm. By the time the ambulance arrived, her condition had worsened. Her breathing was shallow. The shoulder pain had deepened. But the emergency team was ready. They stabilized her immediately right there in her living room. That one decision, to trust expert advice over hesitation or fear, likely saved her life. The paramedic who knelt beside her murmured, "Good thing you called when you did." And in that moment, Linda felt a surge of quiet gratitude. She had acted. She had chosen wisely. So what's the takeaway? If there's even a chance you're having a heart attack, don't wait for confirmation, call immediately. The cost of delay is far greater than the cost of caution. And once that call is made, you can focus on the next steps to support your survival. As Linda lay back, her breathing still shallow but steadier, another thought bubbled up, a memory of something small but potentially life-saving in her kitchen cabinet. Something simple, familiar but powerful, aspirin. But that's the next chapter. For now, remember this. The call comes first. The pocket-sized protector, chewing aspirin to shield your heart. Linda's memory of something small yet powerful in her kitchen cabinet leads us to another vital step after calling for help during a heart attack. Aspirin. That simple, everyday pill could be your pocket-sized protector when seconds truly matter. Picture Joe, 72. A wave of crushing tightness spread from his chest into his neck. He'd done the first critical thing. He called 911. His heart pounded like a trapped bird inside his chest. Then, through the fear, a memory surfaced. That little bottle in his kitchen. Aspirin. With trembling hands, Joe grabbed a 325 milligram tablet. But he didn't just swallow it, he chewed it. Slowly, deliberately. And that choice made all the difference. Why chew? Because speed is everything. Chewing the aspirin allows it to enter the bloodstream much faster than swallowing it whole, buying precious minutes while help is on the way. This isn't hearsay, it's medically sound advice. Aspirin thins the blood. In many heart attacks, a clot is blocking blood flow to the heart. Chewing aspirin may slow or limit that clot's growth. It's not a cure, it won't stop the heart attack, but it may drastically reduce long-term damage to the heart muscle. There's a caveat, of course. If you're allergic to aspirin, or your doctor has warned you against taking it due to certain medications like blood thinners, skip this step. That's why it's smart to talk with your doctor ahead of time. But for most people in a suspected heart attack, the benefits of taking aspirin outweigh the risks. Ideally, use a regular, uncoated aspirin. Coated or delayed release types are slower to absorb. But if that's all you have, chew it anyway. Some help is far better than none. And here's a crucial point. Where is your aspirin right now? Could you reach it easily if you were in pain or panicking? This is where preparation meets practicality. Keep a few tablets in your nightstand, kitchen drawer, or even your wallet. Just make sure they're stored safely and not expired. And don't keep this to yourself. Let your spouse, children, or neighbors know where to find it in case you can't reach it. Joe sat quietly after chewing the pill, the bitter taste lingering in his mouth, an anchor of hope in a terrifying moment. Hours later, his doctor gave him remarkable news. That single action likely reduced permanent heart damage. That little pill, the doctor said, kept it from getting much worse. Though his chest still ached, Joe felt a sliver of control return. He had acted, and it mattered. But with the paramedics still minutes away, a new question emerged in his mind. What now? How could he protect his heart while doing nothing but waiting? The answer, as Joe would soon learn, lay in the power of intentional stillness. The stillness strategy, how resting can save your straining heart. Joe's urgent question, how do I actively protect my heart while I wait, leads us to a critical, often misunderstood step. You've called for help. You've taken aspirin if advised. But your next move might surprise you. Do nothing. That's right, intentional stillness is your next life-saving maneuver. Alice, 81, was fiercely independent. So when a crushing pain suddenly gripped her chest, her first instinct was to tidy up the kitchen to get herself together before help arrived. Sounds absurd, but it's common. Panic and pride often drive us to action when stillness is exactly what's needed. Through the haze of fear, a memory surfaced. Her doctor's voice from a past checkup. Alice, if you think it's your heart, sit down immediately. Everything else can wait. That one line, remembered at the right moment, changed everything. Alice made a deliberate choice. She sat down slowly, settling into her favorite recliner not out of weakness, but out of strength and wisdom. Why is resting so important? When your heart is in crisis, it's already working overtime to deliver oxygen. Any physical movement, pacing, cleaning, even just standing, forces your heart to work harder. And that added strain could push a struggling heart over the edge. So what should you do? Sit upright in a sturdy chair with back support. Keep your feet flat on the ground, arms relaxed in your lap or on the armrests. If you feel faint or lightheaded, lie down carefully on your side and elevate your head slightly with a pillow. The key is to stay calm and stay still. Do not try to tough it out. In this moment, stillness is strength. People often feel awkward or helpless after calling 911, worried they look silly just sitting there. But doing nothing is doing something profoundly important. You're giving your heart the best chance to stabilize. You're conserving oxygen. You're helping your body endure while help is on the way. Alice, resting in her chair, focused on her breath. Each inhale, each exhale, slow and steady, was a quiet act of courage. Later, her doctors told her that this calm response may have prevented a complete cardiac arrest. She didn't give in to panic. She resisted the urge to stay busy. She chose survival over habit. Then came the sound, the siren, growing louder. Relief flooded her, but so did a jolt of fear. The front door, she thought. It's locked. That simple, forgotten detail suddenly loomed large. After everything she'd done right, could a locked door now cost her precious seconds? This moment reveals an important truth. Even in stillness, preparation matters. But that's another step in this journey. For now, remember this. When your heart is in crisis, sitting still isn't giving up, it's fighting wisely. Sometimes, doing less is exactly what your life depends on. The breath of calm, your final anchor in the storm of panic. Panic. When your body is already in crisis, it can feel like an unstoppable tidal wave. But hidden within you is a tool often overlooked, yet immensely powerful: your breath. Take Frank, 83. The crushing pain of his heart attack came suddenly, like an iron vice clamping down on his chest. Alone and terrified, his thoughts spiraled into chaos. This is it, he told himself. I'm going to die. Alone. But in that darkness, a memory flickered, a simple breathing technique his doctor had once taught him. Could something so basic make a difference now? This, perhaps the most underrated survival key, is the power of controlled breathing. Let's be clear, it won't stop a heart attack. The damage is still happening. But in those critical moments, it can calm the nervous system, slow the surge of panic, and reduce the risk of dangerous arrhythmias, irregular heartbeats that could trigger cardiac arrest. You don't need to be a yogi or meditate for years. This method is simple and you can try it right now. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold it briefly 1 or 2 counts. Then exhale gently through your mouth for 6 seconds. Feel that? The longer exhale is key. It signals the body to relax, to regain a sense of control in chaos. Frank lay on his living room floor, pain surging, heart pounding, but he clung to that rhythm. Inhale, hold, exhale, over and over. He kept still, using every ounce of will to resist the rising tide of panic. When paramedics arrived, he was pale and in distress but alive. His heart, though unstable, had not stopped. Later, with tears in his eyes, Frank told his family, "I just kept thinking, stay calm, stay alive, just breathe." That small, deliberate act, controlled breathing, may have been the difference between life and death. And that's the takeaway. This isn't just theory. It's a tool free, accessible, and life-saving. The more you practice this rhythm in everyday life, the more instinctively your body will reach for it when it matters most. Frank's story is the final step in a larger journey we've explored, from recognizing subtle symptoms, staying still, calling for help, to clearing the path and administering aspirin. Each person had one chance to act, and they did. And now you have that chance too. Because while we can't always control when crisis strikes, we can control how we meet it. And sometimes, all it takes is one breath at a time. The power in your hands. You are not helpless, not even for a second. That profound sense of empowerment, of not being powerless even when facing the terrifying solitude of a heart attack, is precisely what this entire journey has been about. We've walked alongside individuals like Arthur, who first felt those unsettling, subtle signs. We saw Richard bravely decode his body's silent signals, refusing to dismiss what he felt. We witnessed Linda's incredible courage in making that immediate, non-negotiable, life-saving call to 911, and Joe's quick, decisive thinking with that pocket-sized protector, the chewable aspirin. Alice, in her wisdom, taught us the profound, active strength found in stillness, while Paul demonstrated the simple yet vital forethought of clearing the path for his rescuers. Susan's story powerfully illustrated how our everyday smartphones can transform into digital guardians. And finally, Frank showed us the incredible, mind-steadying power of controlled breathing in the face of overwhelming panic. These weren't tales of superhuman feats. They were inspiring stories of ordinary people taking informed, deliberate, life-affirming actions against that relentless, unseen timer. Surviving a heart attack, particularly when you're alone and perhaps over 60, isn't merely a roll of the dice or a matter of luck. It is, far more often than not, a direct and empowering result of diligent preparation, heightened awareness, and the ability to take calm, decisive action. These 7 essential steps, each one seemingly simple when considered individually, weave together to form a formidable chain of defense, a robust and actionable heart attack survival plan. Each carefully considered action buys you a little more precious time. Each one offers you a measure of control in a situation that can feel utterly overwhelming and chaotic. Together, they shout a crucial, unshakable message. Even when you are completely alone, you are not helpless. Not even for a single, fleeting second. You now have the tools. You possess the knowledge. Crucially, you now have a plan. So, the vital question is, what will you do with this empowerment? Will this just be another article you've read? Or will it become a true catalyst for life-preserving change? Take these steps to heart, quite literally. Internalize them. Discuss them openly and urgently with your loved ones, especially with those cherished individuals in your life who live alone or might be at higher risk. Sometimes, the most critical, forgotten key to survival is simply the clear memory of one of these straightforward actions in a moment of unimaginable crisis. And here's your most important call to action today. Share this knowledge. Please, share it widely and without hesitation. You have the incredible, inherent power to be a beacon of hope, a source of life-saving information within your community. By passing on these 7 steps, you might not just save your own life one day. You could very well save the life of someone you cherish, someone you deeply care about. Don't let this vital information end with you. Be the one who makes that tangible difference. Start that crucial conversation today, because true preparedness is, and always will be, an undeniable act of love and hope.